Good morning, friends. Are you guys ready to sing with me? The sun is shining. Good morning, good morning. And we're all smiling. Good morning to everyone. Hooray, hooray. Have a good day. Great work, my friends. How about some Twinkle Twinkle? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. It's great, friends. Why don't we do Itsy Bitsy Spider? We haven't done that in forever. Itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. The itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. Great. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the types of trees that grow in our area. And we've seen all of these when we've been walking around our neighborhoods. When we walk around PIC, we see all of these different trees because they're really common in our area. So I know you guys have seen the ginkgo tree because we always talk about the smell when we pass that one, right? It's kind of stinky. And ginkgo tree has leaves that are shaped like a fan. So like this. Really, really distinctive leaves that you can see on the ground when they fall off. And what else? There's cedar trees, and those are like the ones we have near the sandbox. The big ones with the like pine needles on them and the pine cones. We have a lot of those in our area. What else do we have? We have cherry trees, which I'm sure you can see a lot of right now that are doing the big pink blooms. They just look like giant pink trees right now because all the flowers are blooming on them. Those are called cherry trees. And let's see, ooh, maple trees. We have a lot of those too. And maple trees are the ones that we see. They have leaves that are kind of star-shaped like that. And during the fall, when the leaves start changing, they turn bright, bright red and orange and yellow, and they look like they're on fire because they're just so bright. We don't have any of those on our property at PIC, but they're definitely around in the neighborhood. And what else? We have birch trees, and those you can kind of tell by the color of the bark. It looks kind of white. It's got some like darker brown lines on it. Those are called white birches. See if there's anything I missed. Ooh, dogwood trees. And the big one that I'm sure you've noticed because they bloom real big every spring is saucer magnolias. So those are the ones with, we actually have one on PIC property, but it's got the big purple and white thick flowers. There's a couple in the neighborhood too that are just like these giant blooms. They get huge. The trees are really huge and they smell really good. Those are called saucer magnolias. We also have regular magnolia trees, and those are called southern magnolias. They're just slightly different. But why do these trees grow in our area? Why are there so many of them that grow in our area? Why do you think that might be? It's a tricky question. It depends mostly on the things that we've been talking about that plants need to grow and survive and do well. Things like sunlight, the type of soil, the temperature, all of those things affect what kinds of trees and plants can grow in a certain area. In our area we get, especially right now, we get lots and lots of rain, right? So it's very, very wet. Everything is very damp. And we get a fair amount of sunlight, especially once summer comes. We get a lot of sun. And we live in an area with temperature fluctuations. That means the temperature goes up real high and comes down real low. So the plants that grow and survive outside need to be able to withstand those kind of temperatures. They need to be okay with those kind of temperatures. Plants that grow somewhere like the desert or the Southwest, like Arizona, New Mexico, are going to be different kinds of plants because they have different temperature. They have different amount of sunlight and different amount of rainfall, right? In that area, there is a lot less rain, a lot less water. So you need plants that do well when it's a little bit drier. You need plants that can withstand a lot of high heat and a lot of sun. It's going to be different than the plants that are around here. I've looked up a list of plants that are really common out there, but they're none that I recognize. I could read you the list, but I'm sure you might not recognize them either. Texas ebony, desert willow. It's all plants that can withstand high heat, do well with less water, and lots of sun. And in our area, the plants really love kind of the damp soil. They like the temperature fluctuation. So the trees and the plants that we usually see in our area are well suited to our space. And the same is true, it's not just those two areas. Places like the Pacific Northwest, like Washington, Oregon, are gonna have a lot different plants as well. And the things that grow in Florida, where it's kind of swampy and hot and humid, they get a lot of different plants too. So it just depends on where you are, what grows. Yeah. We have a book in our classroom about that, about something really similar to that, called The Tree Lady, that I am gonna link in the email, a reading on YouTube of it because I don't have the book. But we're gonna read one that we've read a couple of times that is sort of relevant, called Who Will Plant a Tree? All right. I wonder, who will plant a tree? Last fall, a squirrel buried an acorn. He didn't know it, but he planted an oak tree. Seeds stuck to the messy fur of an apple-eating black bear. The bear tripped, a seed fell off, and he planted an apple tree. A goose migrated with a chestnut burr stuck to her feathers. Miles away, the burr came off. She planted a chestnut tree. A dolphin pushed a coconut into ocean currents. The coconut floated to an island, and a palm tree grew. Ants marched a pine nut down their tunnel. They didn't know it. They planted a pine tree. Cherry seeds got caught in the tail of a wild horse. She swished her tail. A seed fell and grew into a cherry tree. A beaver used his sharp teeth to chop down a maple tree. Crash! Maple trees were planted along the riverbank. Playful monkeys threw figs at each other. They planted fig trees. Stop it, don't throw food. A moose got a pear branch stuck in its antlers. It walked and walked. As pears fell off, trees were planted. An owl swallowed a mouse that had been eating elm tree seeds. Later, the owl coughed up an owl pellet and an elm tree grew. In the Amazon River, a pacu ate a floating fruit. It pooped seeds. Trees were planted all over the rainforest. A camel chewed some dates and then spit the seeds out. It wasn't long before a seed grew into a date palm. A wren flies to her nest with a juniper berry in her beak. Oops, the tasty berry fell. The wren planted a juniper tree. A teacher taught her students all about trees. They went on a field trip and planted trees. What fun! Wait a second, did an elephant plant a tree? And the little stem coming out. Now, in that book, there were a lot of descriptions of different types of trees in different areas too, right? The camel eating the date palm seed was in the desert, in the middle of the desert. The dolphin pushing the coconut would have been in more of like a warm tropical place. So they talk about the different things that can get planted in all sorts of different places. All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit with some more stories. Bye.